Greetings, salutations. Happy Monday, July 27th, 2026. Welcome to Backstage, the daily show for entrepreneurs, founders, visionaries, and builders who are ready to stop waiting in the wings and let their stories power their growth. I hope you had a great weekend. It's a nice sunny day here, summer sunny day, yeah, you can really feel it. I had a pretty good weekend. I hope you did. One of the things that I did over the weekend is what I want to talk about today. It has to do with human psychology and getting people interested in what you are talking about. So I had the great fortune, I have to say, being in the New York City area just is entree to every kind of creative person, every kind of creative, pursuit, comedy, drama, music, all of it. And so I'm really fortunate to have these incredible people in my life who do different things. One of them is actually multiple ones, but my primary, colleague and friend Meredith, who does improv-inspired help for executives and founders and helping people really understand how to use all of themselves in expressing their ideas, not just staring at a screen or delivering a traditional talk. So she put on kind of a play date on Saturday with a half dozen or so not random, but just different people who come from different walks of life, do different things. Great group of people, to a person, fantastic. And we went to a studio space near Columbus Circle, and she let us in. It was like a 3-hour experience, right? And I learned a lot from this experience about human psychology and just observing my own reaction to things and how other people reacted. So let me land this plane for you. This is really where the rubber meets the road when it comes to telling stories, sharing stories that get people's attention, that make them listen. I noticed we were doing this exercise where we went around the room, and when you first walked in this room, it felt like there wasn't a whole lot in the room. So, there was a piano. That's something. There were some red curtains. There were some, like ballet bar kind of things, big mirrors on the wall. It's one of those kinds of practice rooms. So it did have some things. But on first look, when you walked in, it just looked like a room with a floor, a couple pillars, support pillars. But the longer you were in the room and really understanding the space, you realize how much stuff was there to work with, prop-wise, how many interesting things there were in the room. And so we got to this exercise where we went and found something in the room, a space, an object, and we started kind of playing with that space and the objects in it and being expressive in that space. And then we kind of acted out stories. It was pretty unstructured, but what I noticed was the things that got the most reaction in that exercise had to do with a reveal. So for example, I had a stand-up piano I was working, and I started playing around with how to have fun with this piano. And so I pulled the piano out from the wall, and I got behind the piano. And thankfully, I do a lot of squats, so I could, squat down below the piano and then kind of slowly rise up. And there's my head popping up from behind the piano. And if you're in front of the piano, you instantly are sort of laughing because there's a head popping up from behind a piano, not something that you're used to seeing, and it's revealing something. Another person was playing around with the large and the long red curtains and kind of hiding himself in the curtains and then revealing himself and using the curtains as a headscarf. But it was when he was behind the curtain and then he opens it up, I noticed the intrigue that I had and the energy in the room being really attracted to, what's popping out of this curtain? What's popping up from behind the piano? Somebody twirling around there's a large support. It's not a pole. I mean, it is shaped like a pole, but it's a larger circular cylinder that it's a support beam basically. And someone was using that to kind of twirl around and again, all of it, the most, I would say, attractive, and I mean that not in the, it's beautiful or good looking. I mean, like the energy kind of pulled you in. It literally attracted you to it where you wanted to see what was going to happen is when something's being revealed. And that led me to one of the things about social media is that, listen, promise, I'll tie this together. So social media, I was reading the leading authority on kind of social media, what's working on LinkedIn right now. He's a LinkedIn guy, okay? And he does deep research on this. And I read his post from a few days ago where he says AI-generated kind of infographics are just not performing well at all because they don't reveal, they serve up something that makes you have to read it and discern it, figure it out. They don't have this is my own interpretation of why I think they don't perform that well. Because you don't feel like you're seeing something new, something real, something novel, something exciting. It just looks like the same old stuff. That's why the AI writing just, the minute you think something's written by AI, what do you think? You think, oh, okay, I've read this before, right? So we hear about authenticity, we hear about being real, but I want to be more specific. I think people want to feel like, look, there's a reason why burlesque and I was realizing there's all of these things through human history, which involve, revealing something. It's titillating. And in the case of burlesque or, a strip show, you're literally like, what's there? But there are so many different forms of that humans are deeply wired to be interested in something that's being revealed. And I think when we tell stories that reveal, so if I tell a story about something personal that I otherwise wouldn't know about you because you're in a suit and Italian shoes and you put on this image, it's not intriguing because there's other people wearing nice suits with nice shoes who have good hair or no hair at all, in my case, which I'd call good hair. Shampoo free. Okay. I'm saving the planet. But the point is that it can be nice, but there's plenty of nice. We want to see something revealed. We want you to show us something, show some leg. And I don't mean this in any kind of, titillating or sexualized way, right? But it does have that similar energy of we can't resist seeing something that's kind of being revealed to us. The kimono, think of all the terms we use, open the kimono, and you think back in history, just all of the different like entertainment shows where it's all about coming out from behind a fan or a screen. Every culture has some form of this. So remembering that we're deeply wired to want to see reveal, I think when we think about how we share our stories and why the personal narrative is so critical is because without the personal narrative, it's very hard to make people feel like you're revealing anything to them. And if you're not revealing anything to them, it's just not that interesting. It's just not that interesting. Now, have I revealed anything to you today? Well, I don't know. I mean, I shared some things about something I did over the weekend and who I did it with. But if I were telling you something even more deeply personal about it, you'd probably be even more intrigued. So it's a challenge to all of us to think about how we go deeper and pull out some deeper revelation in the stories that we tell, and we're all in this together. So listen, I'm going to end it there. I hope that helps. Get involved in some creative expression. I know I'm going to say it a million times. Get out of your comfort zone, get with other people, and see yourself from a different angle. And that is one way to really, really get to something. You don't know the things that you haven't revealed because they're inside of you. So a lot of us need help in realizing, oh, that's something I actually don't share that I could share in a way that would be helpful and not, gratuitous. All right. So hope you have some good connection and creativity this week. Thanks as always for listening. If you're getting value out of this, please share it with a friend, colleague, a visionary. And as always, be good to yourself and others. We've only got one life. Let's use it to help others and live the best way we can. And we We'll check back again with you tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye for now.